Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make yet another miniature house. By the way, these miniature houses really aren't supposed to be all that functional. They're not really supposed to be used as survival houses or anything like that, although I'm sure you could use it as one if you wanted to. Just a little disclaimer. Also, if you have any more house related needs, feel free to check out the card system and the links below in the description for my various house tutorials playlist. But now that all of that's out of the way, if you want to make it, here's what you're going to need. You'll need some block of quartz, also grab some black stained clay, grab glass pane, and finally grab yourself some glass block. And once you have each one of those four materials right there, and once you've figured out what you want to make it, I'll be making it right here, you're going to want to kick off your house with a row of 13 block of quartz coming directly up from the floor. That's 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just like that. And once you have your row of 13 block of quartz, this is what you want to do next. So you now want to take this top block, this 13th block, and go right of it by 4 with your quartz. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then connect that 4th block all the way down to the ground, like so, to give you kind of like an eye shape, like this. Once you've got that taken care of, you now want to come all the way down to the block that just touched the floor, this block right here, and going right of this block, except leaving a gap of 1, so going right of this block, leaving a gap of 1, you want to place a quartz block on the ground next to it, like this. You then want to build a row of 10 on top of this block, so coming up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You then want to take this 10th block, this top block, and go right of it by 4, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then connect that 4th block to the ground to form kind of like another eye shape. You then want to take this block that touches the floor and going right of it again, but leaving a gap of 1, so on top of this block right here, you want to place another quartz. On top of this quartz, go up by 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go right of this 7th block by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go down from that 4th block until you hit the ground. So in total, you kind of want to have 3 eye shapes in a row going right, like that, in descending order. Once you've got these, this is what you want to do next. So we now want to come back to the largest eye shape. We want to come all the way down to the bottom, and going left of this block that touches the floor, this one right here, except leaving a row of 1, we now want to go up on top of this block by 11. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you want to go left of this 11th block by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then connect that 4th block all the way down to the ground, like so. And if you guys haven't gathered yet, we're now basically copying what we've now done on the right hand side of that middle eye, the largest one, and we're now doing the exact same thing on the left here. So now coming back down to this block that touched the floor, this one that we just built right here, leaving a gap of 1 on top of this block right here, this empty block on top of this space, do a row of 8 quartz coming up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then go left by 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Then connect that 4th block all the way to the ground, and what you want to end up with is something that should look a little bit like this. Nice and simple. Once you've got that taken care of, this is what you want to do next. So it's now time for us to determine which side's the front and which side is the back of our house. For instance, this is the front side of my house where I've just placed this quartz block. Now that I've figured that out, I now want to come to the back of my house, and I now want to take each one of the top 2 corners of each one of the eye shapes that I formed, or end shapes, it kind of depends how you want to look at it, and you want to extend each one of those top 2 corners of the individual shapes and extend them back, coming towards the back of the house by 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And finally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There we go. And once you have those many rows of 11, you then want to connect the parallel pairs together, and you also want to connect them to the ground. You don't want to connect each one of those 11th blocks together, just collect the 2 pairs together like this. So the 2 pairs that are just parallel to each other, just connect them to the ground. So you want to do that all the way across the back. Whoops, that's the wrong space there. That was a little silly of me. You want to do all of this across the back until they all eventually connect and they all touch the floor, of course. So I'm just doing that right now. Takes a little bit of time, but hey, what are you gonna do? This is what it takes. So we've done one side, we've just got 2 more to do at this point. Actually, more than halfway accomplished, just about finished. We've just got 1 to do now. Here we go. So we're on this end and we just want to connect those 2 11 blocks to the ground. So in total, you want to end up with something that should look a little bit like this. 5 3D shapes like so. What you now want to do, once you've reached this point right here, is this. So I'm going to come to the front of the house and I'm going to start on this side of the house first of all. So these next few bits are all kind of really difficult to explain what you actually have to do, but it's really easy to see what you have to do when you've seen me do it. So the objective here is to take each one of these 5 empty eye shapes, and with our black stained clay, you kind of 1 block inwards and 1 block smaller than the actual quartz itself, we just kind of want to inline it with black stained clay. So we want to do this on both the front and the back of the house. So we just want to add in our black stained clay like this on the front and the back. So I'm just taking care of this right hand side now. I'll do the entire front, then I'll show it you, and then I'll go to the back and do the exact same thing. So we just want to have, like I said, it's just like ever so slightly smaller shapes, like the exact same shape 1 block backwards and just 1 block smaller than the actual quartz outline itself. So this is the entire front of the house, and this is what you want to start off by doing. You just want to take your black stained clay and do this. Once you've done that to the front, you may as well go to the back and do the exact same thing. So we're on the back now, and we've now also got to do the exact same thing here. So with our black stained clay, we're just doing the exact same thing that we did on the back as we did the front. So we're just getting this done. We're about halfway done. We've just got this big middle part, and then we've just got this other side to do here. We've just got 2 more to do now. This will be 1, almost 1, and then we've just got this last one to do, and then we can get into some more technical stuff. So once you've done the exact same thing on both the front and the back of your house, so once your house looks exactly like this, we can now move on to the next part. So now that we have all of the black stained clay on the front and the back, we now have to, you know what, we'll actually mess about with the sides of the house first of all, then we'll move over to the hardest part. So once you've reached this point right here, come all the way over onto the left hand side of the house first of all. This is what you want to do, and again, all of this stuff, all of like the actual like detail work of the house is really difficult to explain what you actually have to do. It's hard to put into words, but it's really easy to see what you have to do once you can actually see what I've done. So this is what you want to do to both sides of the house. You want to have something which should look a little bit like this. So you want to have this on the left hand side. You guys can see the pattern that we're doing here. First of all, we just did like a smaller black stained clay archway, then a quartz one, then a black stained clay again, then a quartz one, and then we just filled that little center part there in with glass paint. And once you've done that to one side of the house, you want to do the exact same thing all the way over on the opposite side here. So we're on the opposite side here, we're going to do the exact same thing. First we add the black stained clay, then we add the quartz archway that's just like one block smaller and one block, well, it's not one block inwards, but you guys can see what I mean. It's just like one block smaller, and it's kind of like in the same line as the quartz always is. Then we do the same thing with the black stained clay again. Then we go back to the quartz, and then we fill this little area in here with our glass pane, and what you want to end up with, exact same thing that we have on the other side, is something that should look a little bit like this. So once you've got that taken care of on both sides of the house, left and right, we can now move on to the next bit. So this next bit is, again, it's probably the hardest thing to explain yet, but it has to be done. So we now want to connect each one of these 5 sections of the house together, and to do that we want to do this. So let me just do it again. Let me just do it, and then let me just show you what it should look like. So it's really difficult for me to kind of explain it, like I keep saying over and over again, but hopefully you guys should be able to see how you have to do it. So all we basically want to do is we want to take out our black stained clay, and we just want to connect each one of the individual parts of the house together. So the way that we want to do this, we don't want to leave any holes or anything in the house like that, and we also don't really want to ruin the outside of the house. So let me just show you what you want to have. So I've just connected one part of the house together. So from the outside perspective, and at the top part where it's actually easiest to see it, you just want to connect one side of the house to the other side of the house like this. And you don't want to interrupt any of the quartz, like you don't want to have quartz here, for instance. I mean, you don't want to have any black stained clay there, for instance. You just want to keep it completely plain. And it's now raining. Great, let me get rid of this. Finally, the rain's gone, so the long and short of what I was saying is, you basically just want to connect each part of the house together with as little interruption with the quartz as you can possibly get away with. So let's just do the other parts of the house, and then we can just take a look at this. I'm sure that you guys will be able to see what I'm getting at. So the whole entire point of this, you don't want the black stained clay to get in the quartz's way. I mean, a certain amount of that's going to happen just because of the nature of the house, but you don't want, a massive amount of it to happen. You just want to keep it to the bare minimum, and you just want to connect each part of the house together. So I was wondering why I can't move. I've hit the roof, so we've got that part there. So that should be this entire side connected. Let's take a look from the outside. There we go. And if we just take a look from this view, yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. So let's move all the way over onto the opposite side now. So we're on this opposite side. We'll work coming this way. So oh no, it's actually easier looking that way because we can see how high we've got to go. So right here we just go as high as that with the black stained clay. Bring it all the way up to the top here. Then we connect these 2 rows together, the front and the back. Do the same thing here. Then here. And then we just go up. We just connect the 2 parts together. So we just want to have that, and again we're just going to check on the outside to make sure that that's right. Yep, we don't have any straggling blocks, so we just do the exact same thing again here. So where are we? We're on this we're on this side now. There we go. I for some reason I just fabricated in my mind. I just thought that we had another part to do them, but we don't. So we've just got to connect this little mini part together now. And then we'll be done, and then that's all of the difficult stuff done. Since this is definitely the most difficult part, just adding in all of the black stained clay, so we've just got to connect this. And then we've got to do a little bit of tampering with the roof. I should mention that as well. We've got to mess about with the roof ever so slightly as well, so let's just take a look from the outside. That's where we see if everything's went right. Yep, that part's right, and so is that part. So everything's connected together now, guys, or at least the main bulk of it's connected together. What we're now going to do, if you guys come to the top here, we've now just got to do each one of the 5 roofs, and they're not difficult. So the point of these 5 roofs, you'll probably just have to add a strip of a black stained clay that kind of like connects the front and the back parts together. and then you just want to fill the tops in with glass block, and it's as easy as that. So I'm just doing exactly that. I'm just adding the strips of black stained clay in, and then I'm just adding in the glass block. So we're just adding in black stained clay. Then we've actually got to do the front and the back again, but this is what you want for each one of the 5 roofs. Really simple, nothing difficult about it whatsoever. It's just like a black stained clay rectangle with like a strip of glass block in the center of all of them, like so. Now, all we have to do now, on the front of the house, first of all, this is where the entrance is. It's the big middle part. So we want to turn the front of the big middle section of the house, we want to turn it into an A shape with the black stained clay, like so. We just want to leave these 2 blocks for the entrance. And then you can fill the rest of that section in, that open section, with glass pane. And once you've done that, you then want to fill all of the other parts in with glass pane. So all of the other 4 parts, just fill them in with glass pane as I'm doing now, these center parts. So once you've done that on the front, you want to do the exact same thing on the back as well, and I'm not going to stop here. I'm just going to go straight onto the back and then we can take a look at it. So we're just adding the finishing touches here for the structure of the house. Of course, I'll probably go away and add some things, but for the actual structure of the house, we're just about finished at this point. So that's the entire back done, but let's take a look from a front view. So what you want to have on the front and the back of the house is something that should look a little bit like this. So this is exactly what you want to have. No more, no less. What I'm now going to do, guys, once you've reached this point right here, now this is the structure 100% fully complete, I'm now going to go away, I'm going to mess about with the interior of the house ever so slightly, I'm also going to mess about with the outside ever so slightly as well. I'm barely going to be doing anything, and once I've made some alterations, I'm going to be back to show you what it will look like if you mess about with the interior and the exterior. Back in a second, guys. Alright guys, so as you can see, I've messed about with the interior and the exterior of the house ever so slightly. I've not done much, but let's take a look anyway, shall we? So starting with the interior first of all I've really done here is I've ripped up the original floor of the house and I've replaced it with quartz, and that's all I've done. Why quartz, you may ask? Because I wanted to use quartz on the outside of the house as well, and I kind of like the blend of the outside and the inside. Plus it does kind of go with the house. I like to keep it nice and bright where possible. It does kind of keep the house nice and light, doesn't it? There's not that much light actually coming in, so the quartz actually helps balance it. Plenty of space on the inside, actually. I'm not sure I'd even class this as like a miniature house. It's actually quite a lot bigger than some of the other quartz houses that I've made. There's quite a bit of space in here. You could actually use this as a survival house. I'm sure that you could, and you'd probably have a little bit of room left over as well if you could actually manage to make the thing. So this is the inside of the house. It looks cool. You could probably even manage to put in a second floor if you were careful about the windows, but I kind of like all open plan like this. I kind of like the feel of it. So moving to the outside now. The outside, standard thing here, standard thing. I've basically just dug 3 spaces around the house, 1, 2, 3. The first 2 spaces replaced with quartz, third space replaced with black stained clay, as you might be able to tell looking through the jungle leaves. Then I threw jungle leaves on top, and that's all I've done. That's all I'm doing with these miniature houses, and that's all I'm pretty much doing with the quartz houses these days. I don't think that you have to go too crazy with it. I like it when there's just a little bit done. I don't like the garden to overrun the house. I don't like the house to be like contingent on there being a garden there, and I think that this house kind of falls into that category. I think that the house looks good just without the garden. Like, I think it looks fine either way, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the houses that I build nowadays. I don't want them dependent upon some sort of garden being there, but that's the house, nice and easy. There's nothing too much to it whatsoever. It's all nice and easy to build. There are a couple of tricky spots, I would say, especially when you start messing around with the black stained clay, but it's pretty good, isn't it? I really don't think this even qualifies as a miniature house anymore. I think it's kind of gotten a little bit bigger, but we'll keep it in the same category anyway. So hopefully you guys have managed to make this no problem. Hopefully you guys like this, and remember that if you want any more house tutorials, I have loads of playlists all split up. If you want any sort of other house tutorial, feel free to check out the card system and the links below in the description. See you guys.